Now we're going to go to Lars Enerson, who is in Israel at this time, and he is just outside of Gaza.
Shalom from Israel. I'm Lars Enerson with the Watchman International, reporting from the border to Gaza from the conflict here, Operation Defensive Edge. This is now the 5th day of the ground operation, and yesterday Israel lost 2 more soldiers. What you see in the background behind me here is the area in northern Gaza where the most intense battle have been going on so far. And yesterday, sadly enough, Hamas scored a major victory when they were able to land a rocket, or at least debris from a rocket, about 3 miles from Ben Gurion Airport. Because of that, the U.S. Aviation Authority made a decision to ban all flights from the U.S. into Israel and from Israel to the United States. The European airlines, major airlines, followed suit shortly after, so a lot of the air traffic is now stopped coming into Ben Gurion Airport. However, El Al Airlines have said they will never stop their flights, and actually the Israelis are disappointed with the Americans. They said that why are nations that are more hostile towards us continuing to fly in here, but the Americans were the first to cancel the flights, because this is what Hamas has been after, to disrupt Israeli life and especially the economy in such a way that it will affect Israel deeply. So this is a victory for Hamas. We need to pray that this ban for all flights in and out of Israel will be lifted very soon, because otherwise it will affect the Israeli economy in a major way. Already tourists are canceling their tours here also for the next month, but hopefully that will pick up soon again. So another victory that Hamas actually also might have had is that 2 days ago they announced that they have now kidnapped an Israeli soldier. Israel has not confirmed this, but on the other hand, they cannot confirm where this soldier is. So possibly he has been kidnapped, and we need to pray. That's a major prayer subject for today, that Hamas will not succeed in kidnapping more soldiers. The Hamas are fighting very, very tenaciously here, refusing any ceasefire proposals. They're hiding behind civilians in the most cruel way. There are even reports of Hamas soldiers now taking shelters with babies in their arms. They are fleeing in UN vehicles. They are also disguised as Israeli soldiers. They are also hiding in ambulances. So this is a very, very vicious fight. And one of the Israeli soldiers that died yesterday was killed by a sniper fire. It's very dangerous territory in here in Gaza, but Israel must fight this battle to the end. Yesterday, Ban Ki-moon arrived here, the UN Secretary General, and of course he urged an immediate ceasefire. We thank God that Benjamin Netanyahu was very firm in rejecting that, saying we have no one to talk to, because Hamas does not want a solution. They don't want a two-state solution. They want no solution other than the destruction of Israel. So Israel must fight this battle to the end. One praise report that I would like or one thing to thank God for now is that because of this conflict, we can see that secular Zionism, especially the voices on the far left, are being disappointed and losing its influence right now because of this battle. The Israeli soldiers that are laying down their lives in this battle is causing the people to turn to God. And I want to read a scripture here from Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 32, where it says, "You say, we want to be like the nations." This is what the secular Zionists are saying. We want Israel to be like the nations, and they want to listen to the nations, obey the nations, and do what they tell Israel. This is not going to happen. God says here, You say we want to be like the nations, like the peoples of the world, who serve wood and stone. But what you have in mind will never happen. And that we see here as a result of the conflict. Israel is turning to God. They have no one else to trust than their Father in heaven. We need to thank God for that and continue to pray now that God will be glorified through an Israeli victory in this conflict. God bless you. Thank you for standing with us. Go to thewatchman.org on the internet and download our prayer alerts also there with more prayer topics. So thank you from Israel. I'm Lars Enerson with the Watchman International. Shalom.
Many of you are familiar with Doron Kedar. Lars Enerson is actually his father-in-law, and Doron had been had plans to put videos together for us. Doron was called up because he's a commander in the IDF. So Lars stepped up to the plate, and he is providing us with videos now every single day. And because of that, we are going to be trying to do update news for you every day to keep you posted on what's going on. Lars is doing a great job, not only telling us what's actually happening there, but telling us how we need to be praying. What do you think about that?
That's something else. It really is.
It's important. He himself has had some health issues, so we're very happy to see Lars back on GLC in this capacity. Right now, we have a Skype interview with Scott Johnson from Hamiflot, which we recorded on Monday. Well, as many of you know, we partnered with Hamiflot, the lone soldiers over in Jerusalem, Israel, basically 3 years ago to the day, and we have on the phone with us today Scott Johnson from Hamiflot. He and his wife Teresa are taking care of a lot of lone soldiers over there right now, and we just wanted to visit with him and let him touch base with you. Scott, we can't trust what's in the media right now, not over here, so we need to ask you some questions. What's really going on over there?
Well, we're getting bombarded and rained with rockets. I believe in the last 14, we've had over 2,000 rockets come down in Israel. We've had 13 rockets altogether in and around Jerusalem in the last 14 days. The report said today we had one, but Teresa and I never heard the siren go off, so I never heard that one if it did happen. Sometimes the media here gets a little confusing.
How many fatalities do we have right now? We're recording this around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Texas time on Monday, so that's about
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock your time.
Yeah, 9 o'clock here. I don't have for the last few hours, but I believe 25. Oh my. Teresa's she's got an application on her phone that gets updated. I was going to tell you we had 18 soldiers that have died, and Teresa had just got an update just seconds ago. It's 25 now.
In the last few hours, 7 more soldiers killed.
Yes. And I don't have a figure on the terrorists, do you, Teresa? 500.
Palestinians have been killed?
Yes. And I don't have the figures between. It's hard to ever get an accurate figure of whether they're terrorists or whether they're actually civilians or children, because it's just not true what comes out of.
So the news that's coming out of Gaza and the Department of Health is not necessarily accurate. We've been reading about tunnels that they've been finding. I think the last count that I saw of tunnels that Hamas has dug from Gaza into Israel with soldiers coming through them, 36 tunnels. I'm not saying...
They found 4 more, so I think that's 40 tunnels altogether. A lot of them are intersect within Gaza itself. They go from one, they have their ammunition depots underground, and they can go from one. There's a city underneath Gaza right now.
So there's like a city underneath Gaza, and many of these tunnels are going from one ammunition depot to another?
Correct. And they can move stuff around underground.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, Scott, how are the spirits of the young men as you see them coming in and going out?
They're definitely encouraged, and they're definitely to do something, get this over with. The more soldiers that die there, the young ones, the more frightened they become.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, they got the wrong people in the camera because getting the truth, because I just saw a clip all ago of these terrified Palestinian children and mothers, and I would have thought they'd have had a frown on their face instead of a smile. That's what we're seeing over here, is a smiling Palestinian who, according to the news, are very, very scared and distraught.
I would say the Palestinians in Gaza are definitely frightened and scared. Not all. Well, let's stop and think of one thing here. You have 85% of the population are terrorists.
Oh.
Still leaves, out of 1 million people, that still leaves 200,000 either Christian or more of a secular Palestinian in Gaza that probably don't want anything to do with this. But honestly, the vast majority do.
That explains it.
Scott, I think now more than ever, GLC's partnership with Hamiflot is very important. And the reason that I say that is because the work that you and Teresa do is crucial in providing a safe retreat, a loving home for these soldiers that are coming from around the world, literally from around the world, to serve their countries, and they're coming there without their own families. So you're really, Hamiflot is really, really important. Now, I visited with you on the phone the other day, and you told me that things work-wise have really increased for you and Teresa in the last 3 or 4 months. It hasn't just been the last few weeks where the rockets got worse and worse. Things have really snowballed on you guys in a lot of ways. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, God's a multiplier. He's definitely brought several more new ones here. We have at least 4 or 5 here every single night, 24/7.
4 or 5 every night, 24/7.
Yeah, 24/7, and that's something in the past that we haven't had, like in the years past. We've served over 3,000 meals this year, and we've had almost 1,200 times they've used the beds this year. So that means the washing machine is going
Night and day, that washing machine is going night and day.
Friday night. They wait in line to wash their clothes. But that means showers. I like to talk about the toilet paper.
The toilet paper?
Yeah. Starting Wednesday until Sunday evening, we usually go through about 25 rolls of toilet paper.
25 rolls of toilet paper in 4 days? That's
Yes.
a lot of toilet paper.
Yes. But I mean, usually a woman can figure, oh my goodness, if that much was used, kind of proportionally what the rest of it is. So it's we're feeding a lot. We're eating all the week now. Before it was mostly on Friday night, Saturday, occasionally Sunday, but now it's every single day.
Okay, well, if you're feeding these soldiers now every single day,
yes,
and they're there and they're doing their laundry and they're taking showers, that means, Scott, that your overhead has probably quadrupled, 4 times what it was.
Yes.
Well,
and the dollar has gone down.
right. You said that now the dollar is to the shekel, 3 shekels to $1 now. So you can't buy as much.
Not near as much, no. Things have gone up a lot for us.
Well, then I would hope that to go along with that, you guys have been getting a lot more support.
The support is about the same as it has been in the past.
In other words, it's the same, but you've increased considerably.
So for every dollar that's coming in, $4 are going out. Is that what you're telling me?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, well, that's not really good news.
Somehow we make it. Like I said, the Lord provides. He's we've been able to make it. Our biggest thing right now, I guess, is we don't really have enough food in the house, and the guys know that. They've actually been buying some through the week now.
All we can do is pray for you and ask people to help us. When I say us, you mostly.
Well, Scott, I didn't really say the most important reason why GLC partnered with Hamiflot is because Israel needs these lone soldiers that come from all over the world. They're vital to the survival of Israel. They're vital to the defense of Israel. And it's vitally important that they come and that they have a place. And they're far from home without their families. And that's where you and Teresa come in. You told me a story the other day about a soldier. You have so much stuff piled there because everyone has been called to the front lines. And you were telling me about one soldier who had come home and he was about to leave. And he literally had to get over piles of stuff to get to you and Teresa. But that's exactly what he did. It wasn't just enough to wave to you from across the room out onto the balcony. He had to have a hug.
He wanted that hug, that love, yes.
Well,
He wanted that hug. Before they leave the house, they want that hug. That may be the last one they get.
They identified 2 of the soldiers that were killed yesterday. One was from California and the other was from Florida.
yeah.
So that's typical of the lone soldiers.
Well, the lone soldiers are generally in the combat units. That's generally they're in the foot soldiers. I would say the more than 90% of them. Teresa and I have lived in Israel, not visited, lived in Israel for 14 years. We've been through the Second Lebanon War, through the Oslo Wars or the Second Intifada, and war is hell.
War is hell.
Look at it. But no one here is fighting over land, really. No one is fighting for more power, authority. What we're fighting here is the powers and the principalities.
Amen.
It's not fighting against a nation or of tribes of Arab people. Fighting against an ideology and religion called Islam. It's extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. They want to kill anyone that doesn't believe like them. And Israel happens to have an awful lot of them here. But we're fighting something that will do nothing more than kill Israelis. And I'll tell you what, if they wipe out Israel, they'll be on your front door next.
I think they're here.
I believe they are. Yes, if they would happen to conquer Israel and this would become an Islamic state, they will be at the United States. They'll be at your front door, waging war. But that's what Islam does.
Well, for anyone who doesn't believe that, Scott, all they have to do is read the news, even about what is going on in Iraq right now, where the IS is right now. They gave the Christians there an ultimatum, a 24-hour ultimatum. You convert, you pay the tax, or you leave, or you'll die. That's the choice that they have. It's almost incomprehensible for our mindset in the West to think that they would actually kill someone because they didn't believe the way we believe. But that's actually what's happening all over the Middle East right now.
I don't think Americans in the West can truly believe what's going on here. Even if they hear the truth, they will deny it.
Amen.
And that is what's happening. They behead you. They are killing people openly in the streets, their own people.
There are some Muslims that are peaceful people, but we're not talking about those people. We're talking about the people for whom it's not a peaceful religion. It's a religion of brutality, and you will do what we say or we kill you. And that's their own people as well.
You know, that's a very good point. Stop it here. I believe there's a little over 2 billion Muslims in the world. And even through all intelligence agency, and I think even through the Muslims themselves, they say only 25% are radical or violent. Now, what is 25% of 2 billion?
It's a lot.
It's over 200. So we've got 200 million crazy to drop the hat off. That's not Islamophobia. It makes the rest of them irrelevant. Very irrelevant. Where are they? Where's the people in the mob? Why aren't they stepping up and trying to stop it?
Yeah.
It makes them very irrelevant in all this. There is peaceful ones. I'll agree with that.
So the peaceful ones aren't stopping the ones that aren't peaceful.
No.
But somebody
They go
has
along.
to. At some point you have to stop being politically correct and talk about the truth about what these people are doing, because it's like a genocide around the world, a religious genocide of what is going on.
You know, Scott,
That's a very good way of putting it. Yes.
Scott, it blows my mind. This is like talking about the Crusade period 1,000 years ago. And here we are again with the same radical religion that is trying to kill someone that doesn't believe the way they do. You know, you would think after all these years we'd become a little more understanding towards other people's beliefs, but that's not the case.
You're exactly right, Rick.
Scott, we really appreciate you taking some time. I know it's very late there, but taking time to update our viewers on what's actually going on over there. And I just really want to take a minute to encourage you to contact Scott directly. If the Lord puts it on your heart, they need your help. They desperately need your help right now, and we love them. We love so many of those young men and women that we've met there, and we were actually working on trying to get Scott over here to be on Light of the Southwest, and hopefully we're going to be able to do that pretty soon. But there's no way that he can leave Israel now. It cannot happen. There's too much to do, and those young men and women desperately need him there, and so does Teresa. And we really love you, and we really appreciate everything that you're doing. We promise you'll be in our prayers, Scott. You and
Yes.
Teresa and all those boys and girls.
Absolutely.
Well, we love you guys too, and many of them here know of you guys, and they think you do a wonderful job. And matter of fact, they wanted to say thank you, and they wanted to say thank you to all your viewers.
Okay, Scott, all we can do is say shalom, our brother. Take care.
We do encourage you to partner with Hamiflat, but we do also ask that you don't take funds from GLC to do that. And there's a reason for
Especially
that.
at that critical time of GLC.
We're in the crunches right now.
Yep.
It's summertime, and finances always fall off. But as Scott told me in a phone conversation, they have partners from around the world as a result of GLC. So GLC is a voice for Hamiflat. GLC goes away, a lot of people lose their voice. We're also the only TV station that stands forever for Israel.